In this video, I'm going to explain the most important concept for managing your money. Understanding and implementing it will lead to a better life and a wealthy future. If you are interested in a practical guidance, then pay special attention to this story. Let me introduce Jessica and Michael. Both grew up in an orphanage as their parents passed away during a car accident. At the age of 5, they got separated and grew up in different families. Only at the age of 30, they reunited with the help of a social network. They both turned out well, but with one significant difference. Jessica was financially free and could afford everything she wanted in her early 30s. Michael had a decent job, but always lived paycheck to paycheck. They both had the same level of intelligence and grew up in educated families. So, what exactly caused this big difference in their income and lifestyle? Michael's dad was earning a good salary, teaching physics at a university. His philosophy always was, study hard, so you can get a good job to earn a decent salary. Jessica's dad never went to university. He was a real estate entrepreneur and shared his philosophy about finance and investing with her early on. It was one simple concept that made her life so much different compared to Michael's. Jessica's dad was teaching her the 4 fundamental items she has to understand before being able to grow her wealth. These are income, all money that flows in; expenses, all money that flows out; assets, everything that creates income; and liability, everything that creates expenses. Let's have a look how these items are related. Poor people either rely on government subsidies or on a low-paying job as single source of income. They immediately convert the income into expenses to support basic needs such as rent and food. This class usually won't have any money left for saving as the expenses are as high as the income. Then there is the middle class, of which Michael belongs to. This class typically has some disposable income available after all expenses for basic needs are paid for. A common behavior for this class is to buy a house. And that's exactly what Michael did. Which category does a house belong to? Assets or liabilities? Michael lives in his house himself. Therefore, it is a liability. It takes money out of his pocket every month to pay for mortgage, taxes, repairs, and many other items. Jessica also owns a house. In her case, it's an asset. Can you guess why? We will get back to that shortly. Let's first have a look what exactly it means to be poor, middle class, or rich. Criteria such as occupation, income, education, and social status are often used to determine which class a person belongs to. Pew Research has quantified this by household income. According to this study, 50% of US households belong to the middle class, 29% to poor, and 21% to the rich. Income alone does not tell the full story. More than half of the people earning a 6-figure income in US still live paycheck to paycheck. The reason for that is the mindset. Becoming rich, no matter if you start as poor or middle class, always begins with a basic understanding of income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Now back to Jessica. She does not use the house as her own residence. Instead, she rents it out, pays the mortgage and operating expenses from the income she generated, and everything left over is cash flow that adds to her income. This income then is used to buy additional assets and so on. In fact, this is not her only house. She already accumulated a few properties over time. Besides that, she is investing in companies via stocks and ETFs. These pay annual dividends, adding to her income as well. On top of that, she gets royalties from a book she wrote about her experience as an orphan. The list goes on. She has multiple sources of income which exceed her spending. This increases her cash flow available for new investments in assets annually. Her major focus is set on the continuous growth of cash flow. This is typical for a person belonging to the rich class. Michael, on the other hand, enjoys a typical middle-class lifestyle. He uses his income from his job as a teacher to buy a new car every few years, to go out for dinner twice a week, to enjoy expensive clothes following the latest trends, and to always buy the latest mobile phones and gadgets, so he can keep up with his friendly neighbors, the Joneses. Let's look into some other examples for assets and liabilities. Always ask yourself the question, where is the cash flowing? Into your pocket or out of your pocket? Jessica, as well as Michael, own a small boat. Which category does it belong to? Michael is using the boat for his weekend trips with family and friends. He has to pay for gas, insurance, taxes, maintenance, and so on. The cash flows out of his pocket, and therefore it is a liability. Jessica does not use the boat herself. She rents it out, and by that, all of the expenses are covered. This generates some additional cash flow that increases her income again. In this case, the boat is an asset. How about a car? The same applies here. If the car is used for your own transportation, then it is a liability as it takes cash out of your pocket. If your car is a taxi or you would rent it out for profit, then it is to be considered as an asset as it generates cash flow. How about kids? Kids do not generate cash flow and therefore are a liability. The same applies for the elder generation that is dependent on care. They are a liability as elderly care is very expensive and therefore takes cash out of your pocket. This is part of the reason why Jessica is working so hard to generate cash flow. She wants to grow her assets as much as possible to make sure she's prepared for whatever life throws at her. She wants to be able to pay everything for her kids, parents, or grandparents in emergencies. Are you applying this concept already? Or do you have a different way to manage your money? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you will not miss out on any update. This video was presented to you by The German Engineer, your channel for money, saving, efficiency and growth.